According to YouTube live. No. Yes, there we are. Okay, good morning, everyone. I almost forgot again. Good morning. My name is Sheila Karuna. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila. Today is Friday, September the 19th, 2020. And I know I haven't been here in a hot minute. Just been feeling all kind of weird and wonky, you know. I don't know how the rest of you guys feel. Um, and of course, I've been seeing all different kinds of things talking about the energy and what it's been like for different folks. And I think we're just collectively in the middle of some things. And I sure am seeing it play out on the world stage. Oh, my, what I'm seeing on the world stage. Uh, I guess it's because I really have spent the last 8, 9 years honestly really getting in here and turning inward and looking at my own motivations for things and my own feelings about things and taking responsibility for every single thing I feel, everything I put my attention to, and that sort of thing. And it's gotten to the point where personally I see very clearly that what is happening on the world stage is a reflection of what is going on within the collective, like internally, right? Because there's so much you know, that would appear that on the one hand we got finger pointing going on, right? And on the other hand, it's like, well, wait a minute, you can't say that this is not fair over here and then turn around and do the not fair thing over here. I don't understand that my own self. And so I see it as that internal struggle being played out on the world stage. There's a slippery slope that I am witnessing. And I feel as though that we all have to really just look inward. Man, look inward. I've tried several times to turn on the uh, camera and do a recording about what I'm thinking and feeling and working through on my own. And I end up doing away with it. So the only way for me to do this is apparently live. And because I chicken out apparently. At the end, I don't. I Good morning. It's so nice to see you, sweetheart. Um, so this is the only way I know to do it. And I also wanted to make a bit of an announcement. I am going to, should my physicality hold, I really want to do a live intuitive hangout session this evening. So if you are out and about and you're or in and available and want to come hang with me, Crystal and I together, we'll be doing it on New Light Streaming Love. So if you are not subscribed to New Light Streaming Love, I highly recommend that you do so because there will be lives that happen here that do not appear there. There will be lives that appear there that do not happen here. And so being subscribed in both places really is the ticket because, you know, there are things that Crystal is doing over there that are not uploaded over here. It's just if you want to keep up with what's happening, I highly recommend that. So as now, if for whatever reason Crystal cannot join me this evening, it may actually appear on Sassy Seer Sheila. I just don't know. I never know. And that's why it's best to be subscribed in both places, because I just do with whatever moves me in the moment. And so I felt called to do a reading today for myself and for the collective, because I do know that I feel the collective quite heavily, even when I think I'm not feeling the collective. I am. I think that's true probably for all of us, because we are all one and yet separate all at the same time. And the choice came out. That's really interesting. And for the surrender card, we got surrender to your full power. Boy, that one did take my breath away, that one. Surrender to your full power. You know, in times in the past, in conversations I've had with my grown son, he has actually said the words to me that sometimes he gets scared of just how powerful he is, or we are. And even though in some ways I think that's probably the truth for all of us, because there's an awful lot of links that have been gone to get us all to not actually know the truth of who and what we are. So would kind of make you wonder, wouldn't it? Oh, there was two that came out. The fawn and ooh, the singer of initiation came out. Ooh, big doings. Big doings, it would seem, from the fairies oracle today. So I hope everyone has been well. I know there's actually been some interesting things happening to me that would signify that folks who aren't usually woo woo, for lack of a better word, um, are beginning to see, sense, feel, and understand energy in a way that is surprising, right? I happened to see friend, also viewer, you guys may remember David Pierce. We've had a couple of conversations with David. Sent me something from X last night, that there was a fella that apparently doesn't normally talk about anything that has to do with energy, who was appearing with Tucker Carlson, who also, in my view, is speaking a lot of times in terms of consciousness that I'm not sure he is quite aware of what he's speaking on. At least it's what I hear in his speaking. This guy was Scott Adams, or Adams Scott, I'm not quite sure. And he was talking about how a particular sort of energy built up into a bubble and released as Charlie left the mortal coil. And I know I felt that release of energy in a way that I couldn't quite understand. And several have pointed to um, the, what do you call it? The Schumann resonance monitors that that are on the planet, and what they were doing at the time of his death, the shooting. And so I find it kind of interesting. Of course, I've begun to really observe speech in a whole different way because I'm convinced that, again, we are all one and yet singular, and nobody is not connected. Everybody is absolutely connected, and their innate is absolutely running the show, whether they are aware of it, the little ego is aware of it or not. That's what I keep being shown. My my innate is continually showing me how the ego can think it's in charge all it wants to, but that's not actually what's happening. We've had this one again, boy, or before. I can't hear. I'm talking about energy in a bubble and it building up and then releasing. And that, for all it's worth to me, looks like that, looks like a Stargate. And if you ever saw the TV series SG1, it always looked like water and then like a bubble coming out and releasing energy. So that's quite interesting to me on a lot of levels. Okay, so one more. The singer of initiation is really jumping out at me. It wants to go first, and I almost went ahead, but this deck also wants to chime in. So I'm feeling more and more and more conversations, and Coincidence Cafe, I'm always looking to have conversations with you that we can uh, put out. So if and when you feel so inclined, um, just hit me up because I'm ready at any moment where you're concerned, my dear, because you have so much to share. And I just love what you've been playing with, and I want us to delve into that more whenever you feel to do so. Okay, so the singer of initiation definitely wants to go first. It's card number 9, always the end, signaling the end of a cycle. And the singers in this realm here. Yeah, but those conversations are your lowest rated. No one really knows what we got going, so they have limited interest. Well, you know what? I don't worry about that. As you know, I do these conversations for me, and I also feel that part of the reason that is that we all have been on this path together, actually, for quite some time. And at least for me, I feel as though those conversations will be sought after at some other juncture. Um, I don't know how to, I don't even know if I said that properly, but as you know, I'm not in this for whatever the ratings would be and whatever all that is. That's never been what this is about. And um, because an awful lot of humanity is still not looking within yet. I am aware that and I use that term, you, me, Lisa, Crystal, folks that have been doing this for a while, have been looking within, are looking to take self responsibility for all of us and see it in a particular way. And so when we get together and have conversations that interest us, I realize that it's not of interest to most of humanity at this juncture. but that doesn't mean that it won't be. And because, I realize too that the channel can always be taken down at any moment. I always keep these conversations offline as well, so they can come back at a later time, but that it puts them out there. And my own guidance has been, it puts it in the field. It's there. There will be, there has been. um I've been contacted by folks who are so grateful that we are having those kinds of conversations, because they aren't being had, because most people are playing to the algorithms or the ratings or whatever, and they are feeling quite lonesome and alone, and love these conversations. And I knew that going in when I created Conscious Conversation Central, which is exactly why I've always said these conversations aren't for anybody necessarily except me. And I know that they will be. There is so much organic change going on right now. I see the hand of the divine in so much these days. So much. Yes. That's why I'm saying, so for me, they're not necessarily for folks right now, but there's something within me that knows that they will be. And because these are the things that are occurring within our fields right now, um, having the conversations and making them available in the field. I don't know, there's something too about just having them in the field raises the field. I don't know if that made a lot of sense there, but that's what it feels to me. Okay, so so just let me know, because as you know, I promise to follow all my nudges, and whether I understand them or not. And I was nudged to say that to you, and there's obviously a reason. And I feel like that's part of it. So, the Singer of Initiation, card number 9, passage through trial, triumph, new level. The Singer of Initiation brings a major transition between old and new. As we prepare to pass through any gate, we are greeted by this singer who tests us to see if we are ready to enter into the new realm, or whether for our own safety and well being we must stay where we are. And I swear to goodness, see, inside this book here, right, there's also the picture there. As I'm reading this, I'm seeing a being like this. I don't know if anybody else can, but that's what's being shown to me as I'm reading this right here. Um, so that's very interesting. There is no initiation without testing, and this testing must take us to our limits in order to be valid. Initiation is not just a charming ritual with candles and incense and other occult paraphernalia. True initiation is grounded in material reality, and it extends through body, mind, and emotions. The testing occurs on all levels of our being. The more profound the change being processed, the more rigorous the test. However, these initiations are only given when the singer knows we have the potential, the ability, and the opportunity to pass them. If we pass the initiation this singer offers, we are strengthened by the process itself. In working through it, we learn something about ourselves, and we move finally and irrevocably from one way of being to another. And I see this on such a huge collective level right now. for what we're all moving through. And so this says breakthrough. Drawing this card signifies or notifies us that significant change and challenge are both occurring in our lives, with the potential for moving into a new realm, which involves a new way of being. This major change has been building for a long time. Well, when I met 1 week ago today with an intuitive viewer, I was told that there's been like a pause button surrounding me. And I have felt that because I started questioning myself about what the hell do you think you're doing? Why are you doing? I mean, I go back to the whole thing. Why am I doing this? What is to be gained? All the human stuff all the little questioning of why, right? Um, this major change has been building for a long time, and the moment is now here to meet this challenge. We may already be aware of the initiation process, but perhaps have only seen it as bad luck or fate. It is neither. It is an opportunity to see if we have deep down truly learned the lessons we have been working on and are willing to apply them in our lives. Often, knowing just what the initiation is about can seem one of the most difficult aspects of the process. Yeah, I'll cop to that. However, once passed, it eventually will all become clear in hindsight. For now, we only need to know, as this singer said to one Oracle group member, it can be done. Look with your heart. The presence of the singer of initiation in a reading often presages a period of success, of seeing, accepting, and using our own powers at a higher and more ethical level. I was just speaking about, there's no accidents, by the way. I was just speaking about wondering how powerful we actually are. We move into greater fulfillment of our potentials. It also means taking on a new level of responsibility for ourselves and in the world. The gate is open to us, but we must take the action of stepping through it. And I just know with all of me that because of what the energy will and will not support in these moments of now, better have your mouth set straight. At least that's what I keep being shown. Better because I'm taking responsibility for everything. Well, that leaves nothing out, right? Okay, so well, and this card, I'm sorry, was staring me straight in the face. Surrender to your full power. Your life is calling for you to step into your full power rather than playing it small, which, a lot of us have been. And I know I have been too. Um, Playing it small. And why, I wonder, part of it, I'm sure, has to do with just like what I was saying. Um, we scare our own selves. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. So apparently the choice wants to come next because it just like jumped right out at me there. Card number 62, which is an 8 numerologically, which is the upward facing infinity symbol. For me, that means not just manifestation, but materialization. It's an evolving type situation number for me. Like I see the 8 and I've said this before, the upward facing infinity symbol, I go up into and bring down into the the realm of materiality, right? Up into the void and bring it back into the physical vessel to be into materiality. So the choice, there is a choice that you need to make. You are aware of it already, or it is coming to your awareness very soon. Embrace the unknown and say yes. You have the opportunity to enrich your world, to receive, and therefore be able to share much more. If anxiety or fear arises, guilt or shame, treat it as the cleansing of your emotional waters as they receive so much more inflow from the divine ocean. And oh my gosh, there's been a cleansing of the emotions of late for me. I've been so weepy, grieving actually in many ways, and an unexplainable amount. I didn't know the man that was killed, and there's so much energy about all of that. But it's more than that. It's a collective letting go in many ways. I see that for myself. Let the old layers rise to the surface of your awareness to be washed away. What seems to be so much in the context of your own emotional waters is not so much at all when compared to what the great ocean is capable of holding. So let the divine take the old, washing it away from you and replenishing you with the new. Oh, I was just shown that whole um, 8 symbol again there, and how that in and of itself can be a cleansing of releasing and bringing in new, right? Yeah. So let the divine ocean take the old, washing it away from you and replenishing you with the new, that you may serve life all the better. This ocean brings you guidance. This oracle, I said ocean, isn't that interesting? It is safe to choose now. That's interesting, isn't it? It is safe to choose now. There is no wrong choice, just a choice that resonates with your heart. If it is challenging you, that is an opportunity for you to let the divine cleanse and lift you into the vibration where you feel at peace with your choice, where you can accept the grace it will bring to you. Do this now. It's your time to step up. Make your life easier on yourself and open to love in a more trusting way. Come now. The divine is calling you to play. Wow. That is, our lives are measured in choices we have made along the path we call living. Each compass point, possibility, each step, an opportunity, seemingly random, each decision moves us inexorably in a direction both unknown and yet somehow familiar. For upon reflection, the strength we find in choosing or the surrender of letting all unfold leads us to the place we started from when we made that first choice to be here again. Wow. Um, there's so many ways to view things that have occurred on this planet, and the different ideas that everybody has about you know reincarnation. Some people think it's a trap. Some people, it's just so interesting to me. The different the different perspectives and perceptions of perspectives that we have. And it's all valid and it all serves no matter what. This is why I know now with all of me that it doesn't matter what the truth is, because that is a very subjective and, again, slippery slope. Because who decides what the truth is? I yeah, there's so much in that. Okay, so the Shaman Dream Oracle wants to come next, and both of these cards actually are vying, and I think number 8 is going to, oh wow, be first. Crown Games, right use of power. Wow. Okay, that gave me a big chill, and I'm not quite sure why. Um, there's a lot in that card. A lot for me. Oof, yeah. Crown Games. Leadership, responsibility, accountability, right use of power. There is a game of power played by all people, whether they're conscious of it or not. Very true, I would say. It concerns who has it and who doesn't, how to get more of it and not to lose that which you have, how to wield it wisely and not to get drunk with it and cause harm. These are the matters you need to ponder now that you find yourself in the crown game too. Hmm. Well, that would seem to suggest that the initiation has actually already taken place, wouldn't it? Interesting. You want to be on top, the best, the most effective, the best, the most beloved. You may discover that your deep desire to help others is disguising the underpinnings of this complex game. Oh, let me just tell you, I already know that's a slippery slope, which is why I have continually said I am very, very clear. I am not doing this to help anybody else. This is all about me and my own growth of consciousness. My internal has been very clear with me. We are not here trying to help anybody. This is Sheila in front of her mirror doing her consciousness work on herself. And if you get something out of it, oh, yay, that's a win-win. I've always been very clear about that. I know that I don't have the answers. I have what I think in this current moment. And to me, that is right where I need to be. Not be trying to say, oh, I know something, because just the minute I think I know something, it changes. I'm shown that, well, you thought you knew, but no, no, you didn't. And so, for me, I'm not trying to have any kind of power to tell you what to think and feel. No, because even me, I can think and feel what I like in this moment, but I've been shown many, many times over the course of these years that even that isn't in its fullness correct. What I've seen and what I've said from very jump beginning is, if somebody comes along and tells you they know the way, they know what's going on here, you better run like hell. Because I don't care who you are or what you think you do not know exactly what is happening on this planet. You don't know. Nobody does. If you know for yourself, yay, I'm glad for you. But that doesn't mean you know for everybody else too. In my view, this is just my own perspective. And that's why, oh wow, okay, because I'm gonna take responsibility. I am not gonna sit up here and try to tell you that this is the way you ought to live your life. That would seem to suggest that I've been in your pocket your whole life, that I know what your perspective is, and I do not. That's one thing I am very clear about. I can tell you what has worked for me. I can tell you where I am in this moment of now, and I can tell you what I think and feel, but that does not make it correct in any way, shape, or form. It's just my current thinking on the subject. My brother said to me in 2019, no, it was 2021. We were visiting my father on his deathbed. And my brother said to me, Sheila, you've always been like a citizen scientist. You've always experimented with things. And he's right. That's the only way I can see to move through life is to make a hypothesis, test that hypothesis, see what the results are, and move on. Because none of us know for sure. None of us. Even when we think we do, we don't. At least that's been my experience. So, where did I leave off here? You want to be on top, the best, the most effective, the most beloved. You may discover that your deep desire to help others is disguising the underpinnings of this complex game. Power and all it entails can be both dangerous and productive, destructive and redemptive. Which will it be for you? Can you forgive without condoning and keep your dignity when challenged? Will you be accountable, amenable to change or making amends? Which is why I state what I state. For me, that's the only way to go. Can you let go of your need to rescue others? Oh, honey, I was Captain Save-A-Ho for a long time. A long periodical time, I was Captain Save-A-Ho, and I am overdoing because I thought I was right about stuff. See, this is where this is where I learned my lessons because I was for a very long time thought I was right about everything. And if you didn't agree with me, you was just all wet because I was Captain Save-A-Ho and you was supposed to listen to me. And if you don't listen, I even told my family with my hands right up on my hips is nobody likes you when you're right all the time because I was right all the time. That's why I know that's a slippery slope because I used to be that girl. Oh, honey, I used to be that girl. And I know better now. See, I learned my lesson. Yeah, no, no. Can you let go of your need to rescue others? Oh, yes, I did that. Lead with humility while letting others discover their way home. Yes, that I was saying that the other day. When I was growing up, bullying was described to me like this: sticks and stones may hurt your bones, but names will never harm you. Suck it up, buttercup. My mom used to say to me, well, no matter what they say, are you in agreement with that? Do you think that's true? Because if it ain't true, then what are you upset about? And honestly, that's I hold true to that now. I really do. Now you're learning that empowerment comes with a price and a sacrifice for sovereignty. This is a time to pick your battles, use strategy, and temper your reactions. You have the power to make a beautiful difference on behalf of others. Can you see power as a currency that you must spend judiciously? Well, My power is my currency, isn't it? It is the only currency that matters because all else is a placeholder for it. True power is stewarded wisely, for it is given from the divine, not from the ego. In all your relations, the greatest beauty is when power is shared. If you are in a higher position, it's even more important to be kind and respectful. Personally, I think it's important to be that no matter who you are or what you're doing. Ask for guidance. It will come when you choose compassion over your own goals and desires. When you stop caring about who wears the crown, true success and influence appear for you. Yeah, I don't give a crap. Wear whatever crown you think you must. I don't want it. I've been in that position. I grabbed it up for myself, and oh my God, what a lonely place to be when you think you're right all the time about everything. It was horrific, and I don't want no part of it. Because I now see so in so many ways the truth is that it's all very subjective, all of it, that none of us know exactly what's going on here. Not on the what we think is the material level or even the internal level. We have ideas, we have feelings and thoughts about it, but none of us know for absolute certain. Okay, so the two cards came out from the shaman's dream oracle. Stars in the sky, limitless possibility, embracing opportunity. What a reading today. When you look up into the velvety dark blanket of the night sky covering the vast expanse of space, can you count all the stars twinkling above? Can you imagine that you are only glimpsing a teeny sliver of what is actually there? This is the domain of limitless possibility, of the never ending sea of potential that you yourself are made of. This is a huge reading today, I feel, because that's a true statement for me, I feel. Um, and have now at your disposal. Your life right now is alive with possibility and needs your clear focus to home in on what avenue of exploration most calls to you. It's time to choose and not be distracted by the sheer magnitude of what may be. Be here now. Gather your thoughts and your most cherished dreams. Focus on the brightest star in your never ending sky and take small steps, small movements toward calling this glittering potential into reality. If you can imagine this and hold that vision, you will summon all the celestial helpers and guides to aid you in bringing it into fruition. Keep your focus on the essential of on the essence, sorry, of potential rather than the form of it. The universe has its own ideas of how best to serve you and all of us at the same time. Trust this as fact rather than theory. No, that's really that in the last few years, that's been really shown to me in a very huge way. That's what is meant by divine timing. That's what is meant by not realizing what is happening or how it actually works and all of that sort of thing. Um, by trying to control it, I put limits on it. Lisa helped me see that in such a huge way. Trust this as fact rather than theory, and you ought not act surprised when your dreams come true, for they surely will, exactly how you need them to. Yeah, I've asked that question before, the difference between want and need. What is that? And even what I think I need as opposed to what I really actually need, right? Because the ego thinks it needs certain things that it actually doesn't. And the larger part of me is really the one that is in charge of what I actually need. And which is why I know that there are things that I have classified as mistakes in my life that actually weren't mistakes. They were full on what had to happen for this, that, or the other to be shown to me. So, uh, two cards left, this one and the fawn. This is Sky, Snow, Star. And it is on page 59, which is a 5 numerologically, which is all about change. That's kind of interesting. Sky, Snow, Star. The name of the game on this planet is evolution. Yes, I would agree with that 100%. You, my dear, came here to evolve, not to be perfect, not to impress other people. Oh, thank God. thank God, because I tried that and it didn't work. And not to collect likes for your bikini selfies or your six-pack stomach situation. There's another thank God, because that ain't happening. Earth is an evolutionary realm. What this means is that you need to get real with yourself, like really real. You cannot hide from your shadows or your issues. You must look within and get clear on what is and what isn't serving you, as well as what it's time to shift and to let go of. Wow, that's been a big theme for at least a week. No, I would say it's been more than that, but it's come to my right here in my face for more than a week now. To stubbornly cling to that which is no longer serving you and to pretend that it's all fine and pop rocks is a false means of achieving power. Crown games, anyone? And babe, you're far too lit to settle for false power. Take some time out for introspection and self inquiry and acknowledge the triggers and the traumas that are ready to be transmuted. It doesn't have to be hard or painful or labor intensive. These aspects are simply inviting acknowledgement so that you can gracefully move on and reclaim the true power that is naturally yours. Well, when I was saying a few minutes ago about how, you know, things that I've labeled mistakes in my life weren't mistakes. Some of them that I labeled mistakes came along with abuse, both physical, mental, all those kinds of things, right? From choices that I had made. And the truth of the matter is, as I've been looking at a lot of that in my life, I keep being reminded, but did you die? No? Oh, you're still here, right? And you're still moving through these things. Yeah. You're getting good juju out of it, right? So there's all of that to consider for myself when looking at these sorts of things about myself, about the situations that I think we all face, right? So the last card that wanted to come out here is the fawn. Another 8, man, is card number 35. So numerologically, that is another 8. And the fawn, understanding the nature of nature, natural wisdom, natural magic. The merry, irrepressible fawn dancing in the garden, frolicking in the woods, playing in the meadow, sings out, "Come dance with me." It is he who knows the secrets of nature. He knows where the robin's nestlings are hidden, where the mice lurk, who lives down that rabbit burrow, and where the pixies like to dance. He teaches us to understand, appreciate, and express the part of ourselves that dances in the moonlight with the fairies, sings to the dawn stars with the birds, and hums with the blossoming flowers. This is also the part of us that plants seeds with a loving pat that says, "Bless you and grow," and provides healing energy uh, for doing just that. No fuss, no bother, just intention and natural human magic. Natural magic is simple. We are all full of it. And the more we are true to our own nature, the more we have access to our own magic. I don't know. I feel like that's so the more I simply let go and relax into myself and be myself without worrying about what it looks like on the outside, who's watching me, who's not, what it all, um, the more that magic shows itself to me, the more I see my own magic at work in different things. When we are caught up in believing in limitations posed by ourselves or our culture, we inhibit the flow of energy, which is the melody of ecstasis, song of the cosmos. Ecstasis is the very first card in this deck, right? As it sweeps through us, opening ourselves back up to that song can be a long and complex business once we have closed down in some way. It requires a great deal of thought and self observation, and perhaps also the help of others in the form of formal therapy or simple friendship. And I feel like that's so, right? And I'm so grateful to Coincidence Cafe. I'm so grateful to Lisa Flamino Rush. I'm so grateful to Crystal Hemphill. I'm absolutely grateful to BZ Rieger. These are all beings who assisted me in seeing more of me from a different perspective by sharing their own perspective, not just of me, but of themselves, of their thoughts and feelings in regards to consciousness and to what they think and feel is going on here in the realm, right? So I absolutely feel that is a very true statement here. Most specifically, if a being is in the midst of looking within and take, because ultimately that's a form of taking responsibility, becoming sovereign, no longer pointing fingers on the outside for anything on any sort of level, because the outside is just another portion of the one, which ultimately is me in a whole different wrapper, having an entirely different experiment, yeah, and experience. So why I want to get mad at any one of you, which makes no sense. None whatsoever. Hello, Astro Garden. So glad you could join. I know it's a little late in the day. In this, I'm on the very last card. I hope you're doing well, sweetie heart. I am going to be doing a live tonight, Andrew. If you're around, love to see you come in. It's either going to be here or on New Light Streaming Love. So I hope you'll be able to join, even if for a short period of time. I'm going to do an intuitive hangout session. So we'll be pulling cards. Okay, so however, the process of opening is made easier and more gentle if we allow Mama Nature and our own natural magic to help. Spending time in our gardens, our parks, our forests, and open spaces helps us to reconnect, but so does growing herbs and flowers and scented geraniums in pots on our windowsills. So does looking at the stars, observing the state of the sky, and listening to the wind. It helps if we simply observe the natural processes and changes around us. Mama Nature is always up to something. No natural place is the same for 2 moments in a row. Life is about process, not stasis. We are processes, not things. We constantly, I wanted to say continuously, but we constantly change, even when we resist, even when we think we are stuck. Oh, yes, there is an explosion of constant change within the physical vessel. Come with me, sings the fawn, tugging our hand. It certainly is futile to struggle against the flow of the universe, so we might as well dance with him. Stuckness is an illusion. The fawn says, dance with me, and it will all come right. And do you know he's right? At least with me, no. At least many of the blocks in ourselves and our lives will come right much more quickly if we reconnect with him, opening our hearts to him and Mama Nature. They too are filled with magic, just like us. Natural magic is happening. When things flow almost effortlessly, that is a sign that natural magic is at work. Enjoy it. A very important part of natural magic is simply allowing the energy to flow through us. This means both giving and receiving freely. Let the energy flow. Don't push it. Don't try to control it. Just dance with it. Trust it. And remember to keep returning to the source of for inspiration to keep your heart filled with light. You know, that's a very real thing that's being said there because we're not used to that. None of us, I think, are. We're taught from the time we're little, A, not to trust ourselves or much else in our surroundings. And so there's an awful lot of unlearning that actually also has to take on and happen. Wow. So I would say for me that this has been a very important reading for me today to have taken the time to do for myself. I hope that if you have been here for the whole thing, whether live or you come to it later, um, you know, that you obviously there was something here for you or you wouldn't have been drawn. Surrender to your full power. The fawn, this natural magic is absolute thing. I don't know. I'm telling you, this whole thing with the singer of initiation and the choice, we are being shown that we do have limitless potential, limitless possibility, plausibility. All things are so. I can't get over this card for myself. I just, that, not only to take the mask off, because that's very clearly a mask, um, but because I see this, I know this is the finial at the top of the crown, but I also saw it as a little tiny being looking down into whatever this crown represents, right? Wow. Well, I hope this was helpful for you. I know it's been very interesting for me, and I hope that you will all come back and join me later on this evening. Should the energy hold, you always know that I make no promises, and it will probably begin around 7 or 8 o'clock, maybe even 6 if we can do it a little earlier. And it may be here on Sassy Seer Sheila, or it could be over on New Light Streaming Love. Not sure which channel, so make sure that you're subscribed in both places. And until we meet again, my friends, I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. And even if a lot of people, when they hear that, they're like, can't all do that all the time. Well, okay, that's your perspective, and I respect that. But for me, it's also a perception of your particular perspective. And if you give yourself a few moments to think and feel into whatever it is you are being presented with, there may be more than one way to view it, to see it, to approach it. And if you allow yourself those few moments, you might find a better, more joyous way. One way will be a little easier than the other, almost always. Until we meet again, I hope you will be well and be gentle on yourselves. I stole that from another reader. Cindy over at Awakening with Spirit always says that. And I started feeling to say that because I hadn't been being gentle with myself. So I hope that you will be gentle with yourself as well. Be well, my friends.